talk about Nintendo, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, Take-Two, and Activision on today's show, and all of the sort of things we think are going to be talked about, and then some rumor control. And actually, before we jump into that, we've had a couple of rumors already today get leaked or just appear on the internet. I guess the big one is the Watch Dogs 2 thing. IGN front page takeover of their site. NeoGAF spotted it.
I mean, if the internet were a ship, it would be just at the bottom of the ocean at this point because it's sprung so many leaks. And yeah, I mean, Watch Dogs 2, after initially being revealed,
right?
Like, oh, okay, yeah. So Watch Dogs 2 is coming, guys. It's okay. And now here's the release date, and it's set in San Francisco. And here's some other details. Oops, we had that marketing thing go out a little bit early.
What was did you spot the release date? Do you remember what it is?
November?
Okay,
sometime.
I'll check it up in a second. And then the other thing as well, African American protagonist, and then set in San Francisco. It looks like as well a Golden Gate Bridge in the background. So that sounds cool, right?
Sure,
it's a good spot.
You have to have the Golden
Gate
Bridge. Like any movie, it wouldn't be San Francisco without the Golden Gate Bridge. Even though I think I've crossed it maybe twice in my entire life.
Yeah, not often do we need to just hang out in Sausalito. But yeah, kind of a good fit considering this is the tech hub of the world, right? Like if you're in Watch Dogs, no offense to Chicago, but maybe works a little bit better here.
Yeah, I think. But how are they going to utilize that? Right? Is it just dressing or? I mean, I don't know.
They're going to go to Google. They're going to go to Facebook. It's just going to have this whole coalescence of technology in the Bay Area.
Can you hack the real estate market?
Go to Airbnb. You have Airbnbs you can stay at.
I mean, if they're able to jump into the whole social strata and gentrification and all that sort of stuff, then that'd be pretty cool. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. Another one that leaked, I guess pretty recently, was it Injustice 2? There's some sort of screenshot, I think.
A poster, I think.
Right.
A Batman facing off against the Flash. And we've heard inklings of this for a while. It's not a surprising thing. The Injustice comic series has only recently come to an end, but it's something that's kind of ripe for a next iteration in that cycle.
The date for Watch Dogs 2 is November 15th as well, which is on a Tuesday. So, yeah, there you go. Tuesday, maybe 3 days later for Europe. Okay, let's jump into one of the many sections that we have outlined today. First of all, gentlemen, Microsoft. Let's talk about Microsoft. They always do their press conference. It's like first thing on the Monday, right? In the morning.
Their traditional time.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of software stuff. First of all, though, let's talk about the hardware. Project Helix. Peter, what is this? Bunch of different consoles.
Yeah.
What do we think we're going to see at E3?
So if I remember correctly, it's 2 consoles. One that should be coming out sooner, which is sort of like a lightweight version of the Xbox One.
Like a mini or something.
Yeah. And then a more powerful version in 2017. That's the rumor, right?
Scorpio is what they're calling that one. Yeah. So apparently
Which they should keep. You shouldn't
just
change
call it
the name
Xbox
of
Scorpio.
Xbox Scorpio? It's badass.
I mean, I hope that because we've got a bet on that if it's called the Xbox 2, I have to shave my head, right?
If any iteration is called the Xbox 2.
Any iteration ever. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
No. Within the Xbox One's life cycle.
Okay,
but if it's not, I have to shave my beard.
I mean, if you shave your beard.
That was the agreed upon. I mean,
yeah, okay.
No, I mean, no,
That's fair.
We did not agree upon that.
Oh, did we not?
No,
we can do that right now, though.
That'll mark. If that happens, that'll mark the second time I've shaved my beard. Presumably, it will be on camera
for GameSpot. Yeah, you did for Extra Life last year, 2 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, you baby-faced assassin. So Xbox Scorpio, the one looks like a sizable increase in power over the original Xbox, over the Xbox One. Now I'm doing it. And then there also was sort of rumors of an Xbox One streaming stick set-top box kind of thing.
Let me tell you what I think that is.
Right.
That is probably a way to let you, because Microsoft is always talking about bringing the Xbox One and PC markets together.
Yes.
And let's be frank, they're not going to really do that wholeheartedly, but a stick that allows you to stream from your PC to your TV, branding it the Xbox, is a really good way to kind of attach that brand to PC gaming in a soft move.
Yeah, so sort of like a Chromecast kind of thing, you could imagine, yeah. I mean, that was the whole point of the Xbox in the first place, right? And Microsoft wanted to get inside of the living room, and we've talked before about Steam boxes and that sort of weird battle that's happening about PC trying to get in the room, that room. I mean, Microsoft already owned the PC market, essentially, gaming market, and then they already are in living rooms, so it kind of makes a good fit, right? Maybe they can attack it from that side.
And especially because you don't need things like the Kinect to do this voice-activated connectivity. That's something that's just built into Windows 10. You have Cortana, and just bringing that to more technologies. You'd definitely be able to do that with a streaming box and have that same functionality that you get with Kinect.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I feel like we've seen these things pop up in various different iterations for the past couple of years. Would it be weird that Microsoft might be the one to pull it off, or do you think they're a good fit?
They're a good fit to experiment in that space because I think they need to differentiate themselves right now. I think if you ask most people in a battle between Microsoft and Sony, in the traditional consoles that they have currently available, Sony is kind of on top.
Yeah.
Both in sales numbers, and I think even if you look at the track record of games over the past year or two,
Yeah.
Sony is probably tracking higher than them. So if they were able to do this move, I think that would be the smart way for them to say, hey, we're different. We're not just another one of these trying to compete.
But they have to announce a more powerful console as well, because if they're going up against PlayStation 4, headlines will just be dominated with, here's the PS4.5, more powerful, bigger, stronger, and here's the Xbox, less powerful kind of streaming thing. Like they need that mind share of, and we also have our bigger, beefier guy that you're going to play with.
They also need to talk about these things because all of the discussions that are happening, all the hype around this, like the expectations.
Yeah.
If this is all wrong and they actually didn't have plans to talk about it and they don't say a peep, the internet's going to be really upset.
Yeah, and Microsoft are very, very gun shy about making a bad impression at E3 because they've basically spent 2 or 3 years trying to fix that now at this stage. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, an opportunity for them to flip the script completely if they come out with Scorpio and it ends up being much more powerful than a 4.5. Like, that would really make things interesting. Let's talk about software, though. Consoles are nothing without the games that are getting played on them. Some of Microsoft's, I guess, staples are reappearing this year. First of all, Gears of War 4. We're hopefully going to see more of that. Did you guys impressed by the demo at all that they showed last year? I remember thinking it was really dark and I wasn't really into it at all.
It's hard to tell what was going on. I think Remastered was well received. It's nice to go back to that world. I'm interested to see what they'll do with Gears of War 4 now, like bringing that series forward. But it's also interesting because we didn't get a Gears of War Remastered for 2 or 3. We just got that first one.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally sure how they're going to slot that into the overall story. Is that something that people even care about with Gears of War? Will it be like Doom? Doom, I think, was kind of a surprise hit out of nowhere that was just like visceral gameplay that's super fun. Maybe Gears of War could latch onto that same kind of feeling, and it would be really cool.
I'm a little bit reticent to start, I guess, criticizing or worrying about games because of their multiplayer betas, because Doom was an exact example of how wrong my expectations were coming out of that. Did either of you guys play the beta for Gears of War multiplayer, though? Gears of War 4 multiplayer? No. I played a little bit of it, and in a way it felt like exactly like Gears of War multiplayer has always been, and in a sort of a frustrating way, or like an uninspiring way. So I guess I hope that's not the case for the single player campaign. Moving on, Crackdown 3. Peter, I want to talk to you about this a little bit because Crackdown 3, they showed off a demo of it a couple of years ago, and they sort of briefly showed this like cloud, I guess, physics processing aspect of the game. You've seen a lot more of that now, right? So you were talking about it very excitedly.
Yeah, I played a live demo at Gamescom last year in Germany, late summer, and it's essentially like, okay, everyone is playing in the cloud, and in the cloud we have multiple like Xbox equivalents stacked together.
Yeah.
And using all that processing power, the entire environments were destructible. And it was just insane to see not only that happen, but how players playing on different consoles could influence that. And I've never seen tech like that on a console before. And granted, it wasn't playing from the console, but that was my gateway to it.
Yeah.
And
so as far as you're concerned, it was just running on your machine and all these buildings were falling down, right? There was like realistically...
Not just falling down, but like different aspects of them were shattering based on what you did to cause that impact.
Right.
And it was the most impressive piece of technology I've seen on a console ever.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, it might depend on your connection. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might depend on a lot of factors. But what I saw was great.
I bet Microsoft are going to be very, very careful in their use of the C word.
I know.
Cloud has kind of become this sensitive topic. It sort of harpens back to the Matrix era as well, which I feel like they're trying to get away from.
Yeah.
Interesting though. Crackdown 1, fantastic game. Crackdown 2, maybe a little bit too quick off the heels to really get people sort of excited about it. But yeah, I think fans would be looking forward to a new Crackdown. A game we've barely seen much of at all, Sea of Thieves. Yeah. This sort of, it looks like an MMO style pirate thing. Any interest in that at all? We're probably going to see it this year.
We need to see more of it. And I was kind of taken with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. That was a game that surprised me with how much I enjoyed that whole ocean warfare aspect of it and like living on the high seas. And Sea of Thieves seems like it could tap into that same feeling of being a seaman out on the ocean.
We all love seamen.
But it would be a lot of fun. I think it has the potential to be a lot of fun. Seaman notwithstanding.
I've also heard rumors of, I guess the Battletoads thing's been floated around for a little while.
Yeah.
Any interest in that at all?
Yeah, Yeah, if they can capture what those games did so well, which includes bringing back David Wise to do the soundtrack,
Right.
They could make something really fun in their hands. But
And what they did so well was make you hate playing video games and want to destroy your controller.
Oh,
and cry a
no,
little
no.
bit in the corner.
those games were so odd and just out there, and they didn't really make much sense when you compared it to like the rest of the stuff around it. And it's a good opportunity for them to recapture that. But as we're seeing with like a lot of games that are trying to recapture nostalgia, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, for every DuckTales, there's a Doom.
Yeah.
I guess. Speaking of controllers, new Xbox One controller, a lot of people saying that now that the Elite has sort of gone out there and sold, that some of that tech might be rolled back into a new Xbox, especially if they're a new Xbox controller, especially if they're going to release a slim version, right? They usually sort of update those SKUs a little bit.
I actually don't put a lot of faith into that particular rumor.
Really?
It seems like you do have the two different types of controllers. You have your standard controller and you have this really nice high-end one. And I think they'll continue keeping that separation. I don't know that the high-end controller is necessarily sold that well. It's at a price point that's enough for me to even bulk out a little bit. But it is a really cool controller. And I think those two ideas will stay separate.
One of the things that will hopefully save people money, perhaps, over time is the sort of increased support for PC that we're sort of seeing on the Xbox One platform. Perhaps they'll dive into, we're seeing a lot of like walls coming down in terms of online connectivity between the PC and the console and other consoles as well. And then I guess with something like Quantum Break, where that was originally an Xbox One exclusive and then it came out day and date on PC. Is this something you think we're going to see more and more of, Peter?
They definitely said that they will be putting every Xbox One exclusive on PC
Right.
from now on. So that's a thing. Like, yes, we will see more of that. And just going back to what I was saying earlier about the PC to, a stick streaming on your TV.
Yeah.
I think that will be I really do think that they're going to do that. If they don't, that seems just like an obvious missed opportunity to me.
There was rumors on the Giant Bombcast last week, I think, of Halo 5's campaign being playable on PC, that Microsoft were doing tests internally up in Seattle, because they did release Forge mode on PC or something, but the actual campaign itself. So that would be interesting. I wonder if that's probably not the best example of a game they would want to be pulling over onto PC, but
I just love how like Halo is like a thing. It's like, oh, maybe we can get it on PC. Who knows? It's like, why wouldn't you just put it on PC? What is your problem? Just do it.
Forza as well, another one we've seen this sort of little PC snippet they're putting together. Forza Horizon 3, a lot of people saying that that's a dead on this year, that it might be set down under. We don't have any of our Australian colleagues in here to give us the scoop on that, but what do you think about that one? I mean, Forza seems to be like an annual thing for Microsoft at this stage.
Yeah, at this point, and I think it's a Horizon year, isn't it? That's
you
go
after,
back and forth. It's like you can set your calendar by Call of Duty, so it seems like a good guess. For me personally, not something that's the most exciting, both because it is annual and because I'm not as big of a racing guy. I know you're super into F1 and all the racing games.
But but even for me, it straddles that line of the sim and the arcade in a way that I've played sort of enough of those games. Andy Bauman, who used to work here, was a massive fan of the Forza Horizon games. I think he wanted to give Forza Horizon 2 Game of the Year if he had his way. So there is a market for this. People are really into it, and the Tuscan sort of the world of Forza Horizon 2 really look great as well for that console, which is very important to them. That's kind of all the Microsoft rumors that I have here. You guys have anything else you're thinking about, or
something that we saw leaked today? You don't know how much credence to give it, but images of a Dead Rising 4.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I could see that. I mean, it'll definitely be another Xbox One PC exclusive. It seems believable.
Totally. I mean, it's been, if there was a launch title, Dead Rising 3 was. So, I mean,
they've had a lot of time to make that engine better, to make a better experience, because Dead Rising 3 wasn't the system seller.
No,
I wasn't super excited about that one.
I actually went back and played it when I got my wisdom teeth taken out a couple of months ago. And
that made it so much better.
But it was surprising how it looks like an early console life cycle game, So, and at that stage, you were sort of lauding the fact that there was all of these zombies on screen, and really, when you go back and play it, you're like, whatever, We now, like Hitman is a game I was playing last weekend, and that's got way better crowd dynamics. So,
speaking of games making a comeback, what if we see a new Sunset Overdrive? I'm sorry, my phone is ringing.
Oh, great! Who's that? Yeah. Is that Microsoft Insider?
Yeah. Shut up. I would love to see Sunset Overdrive return.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. If they announce Sunset Overdrive 2, that might be the one game that I think would really get people excited, rather than like a Gears of War 4 and another Forza and like just all these we've seen that, Sunset Overdrive is one of those games where like when it goes on sale for like $15, you see people on Twitter like, I know you didn't play this game.
Yes.
You have no reason not to play it at this price.
I was one of those people and played it for the first time again during Wisdom Tooth time and was totally shocked at how it's best in class for those types of games, for that type of like infamous, open world jaunting, like Crackdown style.
Yeah.
At the very least, they should release it for PC.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that they haven't done that already.
I agree.
Cool. So that's all our Microsoft rumors. If you have any of yourself, or if there's anything that you are particularly interested in, let us know in the comments below.